Well, there have been multiple studies, and virtually all of them came to the same conclusion. Actually, this is, well, since there are many few defendants that will plead guilty, like, okay, I'm guilty, now you can, I don't know, give me death penalty. Since most of people don't do that, every jury trial is much more expensive, and it will take extensive jury selection procedure, a longer trial process, more investigators, more legal representation. It's a lot to take into consideration when you think about death penalty, because it's such an important matter that you cannot just figure out on one trial. And that's why I think it's longer process. But if you want, we can go ahead, and now we're going to talk about the social
impact.
The social impact about the death penalty.
Talking about the social impact of the capital punishment, I think that the crimes could decrease if we apply this kind of punishments in the society, because it is proved that, for example, I'm going to say something. Japan and Singapore, according to the newspaper ADN, they are two in the top 10 of the most security countries in all the world, and they have the capital punishment. So I think this is something to take in account, because if two of the countries with less number of criminals, it's because something, maybe this is working. And if people is afraid of committing this kind of crimes because they're going to die, it's a good reason to try this punishment.
Well, what he just said is one of the most popular arguments that people in favor of death penalty usually say, that death penalty will supposedly is an effective means of deterring crime. Well, according to 1,000 studies, this is not true. Scientific studies have failed to demonstrate that executions deter people from committing crimes. For example, the South, that accounts for more than 80% of the executions, has the highest regional murder rate. For example, Texas, since the 80% of the executions are in the South, people still have higher rates of homicide on the South. So this is not true. People are not, stopping or don't commit crimes anymore because of this. Because most of the people that commit crimes are under the influence of alcohol or drugs, or they are, mentally retarded, or they have something that they are not actually thinking what might happen to them in the future. So if you have death penalty, they're not going to think, okay, I'm not going to do this since their system is compromised, or drugged, or under the influence of alcohol, or many other things. So many studies have proved that it's not true. Actually, some of the most famous criminologist, William Bowers in Northern University, says that death penalty has the opposite effect. That is that society is brutalized by the use of death penalty, and this increases the likelihood of more murders.
Well, also in the social impact, the capital punishment will make the society and also the victims to feel better, because they will know that criminals will not take revenge in them. So you feel better if you know that the one that killed your family, it's not going to go back to the streets and then it's going to kill you, because he's gonna get what he deserves. So it's better.
Well, that we also have to think about innocence. There have been approximately 144 prisoners that have received pardons or commutations on the basis that they were innocent since 1973. So why would you want to do something that cannot be undone? For example, if you are innocent, and mostly because some of the cases are now being reopened because of the DNA testing that before you couldn't do, and some of them, probably more than half of the 144 were killed because they were innocent, and they didn't have the necessary measures to prove their innocence. So I think that stating lifetime prison is, well, despite of they could probably be guilty, you could undo, like you could still release them, and if you kill them, you cannot undo that. It's already done. So why would you like to take the risk of putting someone on a permanent thing you cannot take back?
I know, but there are cases that they are proved that the people did or killed the person. So I think he deserves.
Yeah, well, most of those cases they get a really high sentence. It's not like if you kill someone, they're going to give you 5 years, and if you behave well, they're going to give you 2.
No, but as we say,
If it's first-time homicide, you're going to have at least 50 years or more.
Yeah, but as I say, it's gonna cost a lot to the government. So, you know.
It doesn't. It's cheaper.
No, it's more expensive.
Well, I also want to talk about inadequate legal representation. For example, when have you seen a rich or powerful person undergo death penalty? This is because most of the cases that finally undergo death penalty are because they lack a good legal representation. Most of these cases, the legal representation is paid by the government, and they usually pay lawyers that have been disbarred or that have had criminal activity or that have had alcohol influence in serial trials. So in an examination of 461 capital cases, found that nearly 1 in 4 condemned inmates has been represented at trial or an appeal by court-appointed attorneys who have been disciplined or professional misconduct at some point of their careers. So this is really just because a really rich person or powerful person will have much more chances of getting a really good legal representation and getting out of the death penalty than someone that is poor, does not have the same resources, and that is not influential. So it's biased, it's not fair.
Okay, but if someone deserves it and you can do it, and it's proof that he did that, he deserved that punishment, I think it should be applied. But now, talking about the moral impact of the capital punishment, I can say that people will improve and notice that they don't have the right to kill someone else. For example, I think that every of us, when we act or when we do something, it's because we assume that it should be like an universal law. For example, if you help someone, maybe you think that you deserve the same treat, that the people should help you. But if you study, it's because you think that it's the best, it's the thing that people should do. You assume that it's the best way that people can behave. And if you kill someone, you're assuming that it's an unacceptable way of behaving. And if someone wants to kill you, if you failed with the right of killing someone, why the government will not have the right to kill you? You are assuming that people have the right to kill someone. So you should not feel offended because it's what you think that can be done.
Well, I would like to read a quote from a famous criminologist. He says, "In civilized society, we reject the principle of literally doing to criminals what they do to their victims. The penalty of rape cannot be rape. Or for arson, the burning down of arsonist's house. We should not therefore punish the murder with death. Capital punishment is a barbaric remand of uncivilized society. I think we should conclude.
Yeah.
It's time.
Okay. So, I wanted to talk more about that. No, it's okay. If it's
No,
time, it is time. But
It's almost 20 minutes.
this was my strong point. Anyway, the problem of the capital punishment, it is more complex than it actually looks, because it carries not only moral impact, but also a social and economical impact too. Also, it can be seen from many ethical points of view that may make this issue see if that can promote or condemn this act, the capital punishment. Regardless, many people will be murdered until we discover if this is the best way to punish criminals. And unfortunately, prayers do not revive the people. Ultimately, the moral question surrounding capital punishment in America has less to do with whether those convicted of violent crime deserve to die, and more with whether or not the state and federal governments deserve to kill those whom it has imprisoned. Thank you.